the avalanche is gonna flow.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just couldn't get it past like 4. But in that fourth quarter, they're like, okay, at some point they're gonna hit a couple of shots, they're gonna get up by 2 or 3 possessions, and the Raptors are gonna cave. And that's basically what happened. Keegan hit that 3, it started a 12-0 run, and that was ball game.
Yeah, when I watch Toronto play, and specifically when they play the Kings, I never feel like what Chris Boucher is doing is reasonable or
it's outrageous.
Is possible that it will continue.
It's outrageous.
And then for some reason, our guy, what's the head? Is it Igor, the head coach for the Raptors?
I'm not totally sure. Go on.
Yeah,
we have the technology to find this information.
Anyway, I felt like he just went away from Chris Boucher.
Darko.
Just because Darko. My bad, Darko. Yeah,
this is completely BS.
Yeah, it is completely BS. He went away from him, and it's like, hey, man, that might be like the only guy who's really, really locked in. Although I thought Davion Mitchell was excellent.
Davion wanted to win that game so bad.
Yeah, his takes to the hoop.
Yeah,
just powering through.
I respect the hell out of it. This is not Davion shade in any way, shape, or form. Davion wanted to win so bad.
Oh yeah.
He was picking up Malik full court. He went over and he guarded DeMar DeRozan when DeRozan was hitting all those jumpers on the baseline.
Yep.
He was trying to take the ball to the rack. He's shooting threes. Davion was doing everything he could.
Look at De'Aaron Fox's shooting night. I mean, part of that's Davion Mitchell. Like, he was really, really, really good. And he had a couple of threes late. Like, he was just super motivated. I ran into him before the game. Got to catch up for a minute. I was there with Mark Jones. Me and Mark Jones were hanging out with Davion courtside. And, like, he's in a good spot. I kept saying this about Davion. He needs to be in, like, on an East Coast style basketball team where it's more ball dominant, where it's okay to dribble more than like 2 or 3 times, where the thought process, where the game is more methodical. He's a great defender. He's a really good attacker of the basket. Reminds me of Ty Lawson when he gets downhill, and he's just so strong, but he just was in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately in Sacramento. And so, I mean, this is a former number 9 overall pick. Like, he's got talent.
And with this specific version of the Raptors, it's kind of what you just were talking about that he needed to be able to do. He needs to be able to go figure out who he is in the NBA without the fear of getting pulled after 8 minutes.
Well, yeah, without playing on a team that has, you know, playoff aspirations.
Yeah, 8 of 11 from the field last night, 2 of 3 from 3, 6 assists, 3 boards to go along with 20 points, just 1 turnover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad last night.
So for me, like, again, this is where Kyle Lowry went to find himself as a young player and really develop. This is where they found Fred VanVleet, the same style of player. And it's a good spot. It's a good spot. It's a great city. One of the best cities in the NBA. Absolutely amazing city.
I was bummed Garrett Temple didn't get in the game.
You know, I was bummed. I didn't see Garrett.
Maybe he didn't travel.
I missed him in pregame. I didn't even look to see if he was there during the game. But in pregame, usually, you know, I wander around and I see everybody.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have seen Garrett. Garrett's one of my all-time favorite guys to cover.
Yeah, Chris Boucher, 7 of 11, 3 of 6 from 3, 4 boards and assists, 17 points. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I thought RJ Barrett, Keegan Murray battle.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I think both of our matchups to watch yesterday.
Yeah.
Like
Barrett and Murray, and then Fox and Davion.
Yeah, we hit the nail on the head there.
Okay, that's James. I'm Kyle. We're the Insiders. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. I'm gonna nitpick.
Okay.
Because this is something that I think could be something that we talk about throughout the year. When Keegan Murray is rolling, I think the Kings need to do more to get him the basketball. And this is not this is not saying last night's win was bad or anything like that. I'm just trying to look for things to that'll be a factor down the road. And Keegan last night had 12 in the first quarter on 5 of 7 shooting. He finished the game. The rest of the way, he scored 10 points on 4 of 10. So he had 7 shots in the first quarter and then 10 shots the rest of the game. The bigger problem is that he's cooking in the first. Hits a layup with 4:39 to go in the quarter that gives him 10 points on 6 shots. And then he didn't get another shot until 1:34 left in the first quarter, and he went 6 consecutive possessions without having the ball passed to him. He got the ball on a defensive rebound and threw it up to, I think it was Malik, and then Malik took it himself and put a shot on the rim.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where I would like to see an adjustment. We always talk about like Fox got to go get buckets, and Domas got to be more aggressive, and Malik's got to find his shot, and DeRozan and taking over games. Sometimes I'd like to see Keegan Murray kind of take over a game. I know it's not going to happen every night. I know it might only happen 4 or 5 times all year, but there are times that he gets hot and they'll ride that wave for a couple, 3, 4 possessions. And then it goes back to, oh, Keegan's the 4th option. And I would like to let Keegan get a heat check up.
Yeah.
Let Keegan go see if he can go get 35 or 40. Because I think he could, especially against a team like the Raptors, where it was just very clear they didn't have the size to handle him.
No.
So I would love to see in situations like last night where Keegan's knocking down threes, he's getting to the rack, he's doing all the extra work to get offensive rebounds, he's playing great defense. Go give him the ball. Let him cook.
I'm with you. I'm always like, when someone gets rolling, that, you need to play the hot hand, right? But at the same time, here's the problem that I see is that the Kings have so many offensive weapons, and while I want to see Keegan take more shots and be more active, I also know that Domantas Sabonis had 2 total shots in the first half, and he had 6 total shots for the game, and he finishes with 17 points and 13 assists and 11 rebounds, gets a triple-double. But how does a guy that's that good offensively only have 6 shots in a game? And like we've talked about this so many times, the only way for these guys to get all the shots they want is for them to play faster. Just straight up. They need to play faster. And I still think that they're getting close, but I like that they have options, and that there is going to be a night where Keegan can go do whatever it is he's going to do, or there's going to be a quarter where DeMar DeRozan can just flat out go insane. Yeah. Like, so I get what you're saying. And I do think that they should feed him more often. I also look at, he had 17 shots last night. That's way more than, normal. And for me, it's great. The other thing I'll point out, Keegan's figured out if he wants more shots, the best way to do that is go get offensive rebounds. Yep. And so last night he had 7 offensive boards. That's his 4th double-double of the season. All of a sudden he's averaging 8.3 rebounds per game. Like, this is exactly, he keeps morphing. Like, what we're watching from Keegan Murray is so intriguing to watch. Every single night, it feels like he's showing you something different on the offensive end, something different on the defensive end. And I'm so intrigued to watch him grow as a player, because I don't know what the final outcome is. And typically, with Davion Mitchell, you kind of know what the final outcome is going to be. Like, with so many young players, you kind of know. With Keegan, it's just like they just keep changing who he can be. Yep. And I'm here for it. Like, because sometimes that's what you need. You need a guy who is really, really the jack of all trades, master of none. I think Keegan can be a master of like 5 different trades. Yeah. And each night is going to be different, whether he's defending a 2, whether he's defending a 4, whether he's on like a crazy 3. It's just really fun to watch the process of him growing. And yeah, I want him to be a focal point here and there. But then I also, watching some of these guys cook and get into their element in certain points of the game is just wild to watch.
Yeah, the thing, you mentioned like Davion. The reason you could see a player like Davion's ceiling so quickly is because it was really apparent what he wasn't good at.
Yeah.
Like what is that? That's kind of just how you assess a player, whether you know it or not. What is that player good at? What is that player not good at? I don't have the thing yet that I'm like, oh, that's just a thing Keegan doesn't have in his bag. And maybe it's ball handling. Maybe he's just never like create off the dribble, put the ball in his hands, and he's going to be the guy orchestrating the offense. And that's fine. Like, that's not a bad thing. That's just, okay, that's just the thing he can't do. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And to your point, it's like, man, he's rebounding. I think he doesn't distribute a ton, but again, he's not asked to really. He can play in the mid range. He can get to the rack. He can obviously shoot it from outside. Like you said, the exact ceiling, I'm just not quite there yet, because I felt really good about, hey, you know what? Davion's a little undersized, and he's never going to shoot it 38+% from three, so he's probably just kind of like a defensive specialist.
Yeah.
It's kind of probably, for the most part, what he is. With Keegan, I don't know, man. I know people always bring up Kawhi. Like, maybe it's just that. Maybe he just winds up turning into Kawhi, because Kawhi's not a player that I go, man, because I said handles, right? Mm-hmm. Kawhi's not a player that you're like, man, he's going to cross somebody up. But no, he can handle the ball well enough to get to his spot.
Yep.
And maybe that's what Keegan turns into over the next 2 or 3 seasons. And if it does, and this is why I saw somebody in the chatty house, and I meant to freaking get to it when they said it, but a couple of days ago, somebody said, what's the obsession with Keegan? Why do we always talk about Keegan? I think it might have been Leasing. Like, why do we always? And it's like, because of this.
Yeah.
Because if Keegan grows if he reaches some insane ceiling, like, let's just say Kawhi, because I think that's the ceiling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You feel pretty good about that?
Yeah, I think, like, in all honesty, I see somewhere between Chris Middleton and Kawhi Leonard.
Sure. And that's a outstanding freaking player.
That's a really good place to be.
Yeah. I know Kawhi is known for the injury stuff, but Kawhi was a finals MVP on 2 separate teams. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah, he was for a good 6-7 years the best two-way player in the NBA without any question.
And was on track to be the best two-way player of all time.
Yeah,
like it's just his trajectory was insane. So this is a compliment to say that. And if he reaches that, something between a Chris Middleton and a Kawhi Leonard, it changes the calculus. Somebody in the chatty house, I keep missing messages. Sorry, guys. Somebody in the chatty house said, if that's Keegan, it changes. Here it is. George Muller said it makes the next player the front office has to go get much easier to determine. And I'm totally with him.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. And we've talked about this a couple of times. You're going to have a moment where one of these players either isn't there to take up more of these shots, or you see the fade of one of the players. Mm-hmm. And I think we all expect that, watching DeMar DeRozan put up 8 consecutive 20-point games to start his Kings career is wild.
I'm punting on the idea that he's going to be anything less than this anytime soon.
No, he I was on the way down, I was talking to my dad, and I said that, okay, so I always go back to this because in the movie Sonic Skate, I'm sure a lot of Kings fans have seen Sonic Skate, right? Where they steal the Sonics from and move them to Oklahoma City. There's I believe he's a columnist or he's a poet. He starts talking about watching Ray Allen on a nightly basis, right? And how there are so few things in the world that you can go on any night of the week and sit down and watch someone who is the best at what they do in the world at one thing. Mm-hmm. And that was Ray Allen, the best shooter in the world at that point. Without any question, Ray Allen was the best shooter in the world. And you're having that ability to go watch somebody is nuts. And so I've always looked at that when I watch players, and watching DeMarcus Cousins play on a nightly basis. While I didn't always agree with the antics, and I didn't always agree with, sort of his handling with the media and all this stuff, someone who is so gifted at something is wild to watch. Watching Rudy Gay is one of the most beautiful basketball players you've ever. So smooth. Now, you wanted more. You wanted him to want it more, but at the same time, just an incredibly gifted player. And I think I've had that appreciation for Domantas Sabonis over the last couple of years, where watching a guy who literally just shows up ready to destroy everybody every single night, it is crazy to see. And then it doesn't matter how long DeMar DeRozan was in the league. I had never had the privilege of watching him on a nightly basis because I don't cover the Bulls. I don't cover, the Raptors or the Spurs.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then you watch what he does, and it's just how is that possible? I've seen so many things on a basketball court. How is it possible that a 35-year-old man with a guy draped all over him drops his shoulder just a little bit, dips his shoulder.
Savvy vet push off.
Up, shot.
Bucket.
There was a point in the fourth quarter where they went to him 4 consecutive times in the left block area, or 17, 18 feet.
Yep.
Boom, 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 boom. Just watching it. And the bench, you can see the bench is sitting there I can't believe what we're watching.
Yeah.
And that's his own teammates. They're sitting there it's right in front of him. Okay, this is something that is special that you don't get to see. And so you gain a new appreciation for players like this. And I'm already there. Like, how do you walk into a game and just like, we all know, everyone in the entire building knows he's going to get to 20 points.
Yep.
And he doesn't. It's effortless.
And on those possessions, it wasn't even difficult. He went to that spot. They'd go entry pass to him. The other defender can't leave whoever was up there, whether it was Keegan or Kevin Huerter, I don't know. They can't leave that player.
Yep.
So they take kind of a step and a little fake swipe, and DeRozan gets into his face-up game. Like you said, he generates a little bit of space, and he rises and fires. And it just doesn't matter. Like, the defense was good.
Yeah.
The defense, like, what do you do?
And you had 3 opportunities to have the same exact play, and there's nothing you could do any one of the times. Nope. Like, they tried different things. Yeah. Yeah, just absolutely wild.
Yeah, like I said, and I still he lands in that category of player that I'm like, bad shot, cash.
Yeah. And so to get back to I always thought that there would be a moment where we see DeMar kind of take a step back and you see Keegan rise up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Keegan is going to have to fight for his meal at the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's straight up.
And maybe that's good. Like, maybe that instills some aggressiveness in him.
Yeah.
We already see him getting downhill, I think, with a little more urgency this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like getting downhill and exploring the space. It's, I have a path to drive. I'm going to go dunk the basketball. You brought that up the other day. Definitely saw it last night. And this is all great. I'm interested to see how the thing with DeRozan, and the thing really with every player over the age of 34, how they progress throughout the year.
Yeah, that's true. Especially he's averaging 37 minutes a night.
Yeah, right. What does that look like in March and April? And frankly, if you're Mike Brown, and I know Mike Brown talked about this after game 1, like adjusting those minutes and finding the sweet spot for how many minutes those guys are playing, because you don't want to see them run out of gas.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to April and it's like, man, DeMar DeRozan averaged 25 a night this year, and then he goes into the playoffs and turns into a pumpkin because he used
ran
up all
out of
his
gas.
Yeah. Which happens.
Yeah.
Like, so interested to see how that kind of continues here. All right. You mentioned earlier we have our live show November 11th. That's Veterans Day. If you got the day off, we'd love to have you come out to Sky River Casino and spend it with us. We're going to be at 32 Brewer Street from 10 a.m. to noon. James and I will be doing a live show. Right after that, D'Lo and Casey are going to take over. They're going to do a live show. And then the Kings are playing, and I don't know that there's a better place in Sacramento to watch the Kings than 32 Brewer Street.
Yeah.
Out at Sky River Casino. Tons of TVs. They have the sound on. The vibes are good. The beer is great. The food is good. Highly recommend coming out and coming to hang out with us. And by the way, the vibes and the beer and food will be there all day. It's not just we'll be. I plan on having a good time.
Okay.
Starting at noon, 12:01. I plan on. So I hope everybody is out there. Again, 10 a.m. the show starts. We're going to be doing a canned food drive. So bring some canned food. We're going to be doing Socktober overtime. So go ahead and bring your new in the package socks, and we will work with the Gathering Inn to get those distributed to the unhoused in the greater Sacramento area. Come out, talk sports, do it for a good cause. We're going to have a great time at Sky River Casino on November 11th. All right, we got plenty more to get to from this Kings game. Lots of fun action around the NBA last night. It's an NBA Heavy Thursday here on the Insiders. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen on ESPN 1320 and Sacramento Sports Center. It is Kyle and James. We are the Insiders, and we're here to talk to you about our friends at Jiffy Lube. It's November. The holidays are coming up. You're going to be driving around shopping, grocery shopping, present shopping, maybe traveling to see family. You don't want to find out that you need a car service during that travel. It can ruin the whole trip.
Yes.
Don't ruin your holidays. Get into Jiffy Lube today, because it's that time of year again, holiday shopping and driving with family and friends. Jiffy Lube is your holiday driving headquarters. Fast oil changes, wiper blades, light bulbs, and many more services.
Yeah, Jiffy Lube's been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1984. They're very thankful for all of their customers. They're open every single morning from 7:30, Monday through Saturday. Get in there early, get your car serviced, make sure that you don't break down on the way to grandma's house.
Yeah, definitely don't want to do that. And I espoused the necessity of wiper blades yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Get that done before the rain starts.
Yeah.
Don't want to find out you need new wiper blades.
Check your kids.
It's raining.
You know, if you got kids, go out and check their wiper blades. I guarantee you they've never checked them. They have no idea what they look like.
That is plastic on glass.
Yes.
So get ready for the holiday driving season today. Visit jiffylube.com to find a location near you and valuable oil change coupons. That's jiffylube.com. And clear. Woo!
We did it. We did it, Mom.
Another perfect read. Damian Barling.
Hello. Hello.
Well, fucking had it first.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
I tried.
Yeah,
That the Republic story. James had that so fucking long ago.
I did.
We just couldn't get anyone to cooperate with us.
And I forgot about it, to be honest with you, until I showed up today and Kyle's like, hey, we got news. And I'm like, oh.
So we hit those real quick.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
We'll get to 6 quick thoughts in a second from last night's Kings game.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be an overachiever and read ahead, James_Ham NBA on Twitter. That's how you know Damian Barling is a radio professional.
Oh.
And has been for a long time because he's so old. He walked in here and we were chatting about some business stuff, and he went, all right, have a good show, and walked out with 4 seconds left in our break. Didn't look at the time, didn't know we don't have a countdown clock.
He just knows.
He just knows in the back of his head, okay, it's about time for the break to end.
Yeah.
And walked out with 4 seconds left in the break. That was incredible stuff.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to pull the curtain back and let everybody know what we just witnessed. All right. We also witnessed a Sacramento Kings win last night, 122-107 over the Toronto Raptors. The Kings now 5-3 on the year.
5-3.
5-3 on the year. The Raptors fall to 2-7, and we have James Ham's 6 quick thoughts.
How'd yesterday's Kings game go? Kings insider James Ham has 6 notes you need to know. Here are James Ham's 6 quick thoughts.
Hey, real quick, before we get to number 1, breaking Olympics news.
Oh?
Ray Gunn, the competitive breakdancer from Australia, has retired from competitive breakdancing. Pouring one out for the homie right now.
Yeah. Wow.
Quick thought number 1 from last night's Kings victory. James.
Keegan Murray gets aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, watching Keegan, like 12 points in the first quarter, and I thought it was like he was dueling with RJ Barrett. And
yeah,
like, here's the deal. If Keegan Murray is holding up and going mano-a-mano against RJ Barrett, who at this point is the best player for the Raptors, and the Kings still have like 3 All-Stars and some other dudes that are really good, you're probably in good shape. And
yeah, man.
Really, really impressive. Kyle wanted him to get more. I get it. I love the four double-doubles.
Let me clarify this.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, 4 double-doubles already for Keegan this year. Do you know how many he had last season?
No.
8.
8.
He's halfway there, a 10th of the way into the season.
Wow.
Okay, anyways. My issue last night was not Keegan. I thought Keegan was awesome. I have no complaints about Keegan's game. My complaint is that he has 10 points in the first 7.5 minutes of the game and then goes 3 minutes without touching the ball. That's crazy. Give him the basketball. This is not Keegan go steal the basketball. It's, hey, Malik, instead of dribbling on 3 players and then driving in and throwing up a wild shot at the rim, maybe get it to Keegan.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So that was my issue. I thought Keegan was great last night. Big fan. Number 2.
DeRozan gets his 8th straight 20-plus point performance. Finishes with 27. He is now he's at the franchise record, not the Sacramento era. The franchise record with 8 consecutive 20-plus point game performances to start his Kings career, surpassing 7 by Chris Webber and 6 from Oscar Robertson.
8 straight with 20 points is impressive regardless.
He's just a walking bucket, man. Just like, hey, look, that guy's going to score.
Like, at some point this year, you figure he's going to have a game where he goes like 3 for 15. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
But, man, it's really clear there's not like a, hey, here's how to stop DeMar DeRozan.
No, totally. But even
that's why he's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Even in that 3 for 15 that you're talking about, I expect him to go 14 of 16 from the free throw line and get to 20.
Still get to 20.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to last year's game log for him. A little bit different situation, given that the Bulls are not close to as good as the Kings are. He had 16 points in the 5th game of the year, and then 17 in the 7th game of the year. I was trying to find how many times he went under 20 last year. It's not a lot.
Yeah, he went over 20 59 times.
Yeah, so we've got what, -3?
So 20 times on the season. And of those, 1, 2, 3,
4 of them were 19.
4 were 19, 2 were 18, 2 were 17.
Yeah, it's not very often that he get, and you see why. You can play great defense, he's still going to make tough shots. He is a tough shot maker, free throw drawer, a good scorer.
Well, that, and I think the Kings offense, where everybody can share and everybody can have a moment, but also where everybody draws attention, is just perfect for him. Like, the way the ball moves, everything else, like, I really think he's going to have a very, very good first season in Sacramento. Yep.
It seems like it's trending that way. And hopefully it continues, because, man, we all knew that the Kings would be better with DeMar DeRozan, but they look unstoppable offensively when he's cooking like he is to start the year. Number 3.
Sabonis triple-double with no misses and no turnovers. I think we heard the stat last night. I think it's the first time in NBA history that a player finished with a triple-double with no missed baskets. He was 6 of 6 from the field, no missed free throws, 5 of 5 from the field, and 0 turnovers. That was a stat last night that popped up. That's just bizarre. First of all, for him to shoot 6 shots is crazy, but to still score 17 with 6 shots, still get a triple. I mean, he had the assist number like in the first minute of the second quarter of the second half.
Let's remove the turnover part of this statistic for a minute. Josh Dubow from the AP tweeted this because this is also very impressive. Take away the turnover stat. So since 1982-83, Domantas Sabonis is the 8th player to have a triple-double while missing 0 shots from the field or the line. Josh Giddey did it against Portland last year.
Mm-hmm.
Jokic has done it twice. Robert Williams, TJ McConnell, Evan Turner, and Russell Westbrook. You could have given me, this is the point of this. You could have given me the rest of my life to get those 8 names right. You could have said your goal in life is to figure out who this is. And maybe I run into it on accident just by naming all of the NBA players I can think of. But Josh Giddey never would have crossed my mind.
Ever.
Jokic I would have nailed. I would have gotten Jokic first try.
Well, that and Westbrook is the all-time leader in triple-doubles, so you know that there's...
But a game where he didn't miss a shot?
Yeah, but...
No chance I would have thought of that.
But I think career-wise, he has like 175
He has
triple-doubles.
a ton. Right, he has a ton. But he had 2 full seasons where that's just what he was gunning for. Wins didn't matter. So here's what would have happened with Russell Westbrook, though. I would have gone, well, Westbrook has a ton. He's got he doesn't have a game where he didn't miss a shot. I would have ruled him out early.
Yeah.
He would have been gone. Evan Turner, never. TJ McConnell, never.
I can't believe Evan Turner.
Robert, what? Time Lord?
The Time Lord.
We've got Time Lord in here? No chance. Robert Williams exists in my brain insofar as I'm going to go, oh, Robert Williams isn't playing tonight.
Yep.
I never would have gotten those 8 names.
It's crazy.
I would have gotten 2. Jokic. Twice.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
Insane. Shout out to Domas. Heck of a player. Having a heck of a start to the year. What if I just got on air today and was like, 6 shots, Domas? Really? That's what we're doing?
I asked him last night. I said, hey, man,
just
I know you only took 2 shots in the first quarter. In the first half, you finished with 6. Like, are you like,
what's wrong?
How difficult is it to find your way with all of these scores?
Why did you struggle tonight?
Yeah, I again, like, I don't think he's worried about it. All he's worried about, he's definitely
not. He's definitely not worried about it.
He's worrying about he's worried about winning.
Mm-hmm.
He is super excited that Mike Brown at some point during the game said, if you guys win this game, you get tomorrow off. And then he said, the best part about tonight, we only played 33 minutes. He, like, on paper, he actually played closer to 34. But yeah, he's like, he didn't play 37, 39.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't need him to.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for him.
Didn't get his ass kicked for 40 minutes.
No one hit him in the head that I remember seeing last night.
There were no boxing matches.
It was a good night for Domas.
Yeah, good for him. Number 4.
Yeah, Kevin Huerter played. And to be honest with you, I thought Kevin Huerter was a step slow defensively, but he finished with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, only played 24 minutes. I talked to him before the game, and he was still like, he has a cold it's all upper, and he's struggling to breathe.
It was sinus infection?
Yeah, like whatever it is that he's got, he's like, I'm getting closer. Yeah, exactly. So he ran by. I'm like, are you doing better? And he put out an elbow. We like elbow bumped. Like, you good? He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm still pretty sick. And I'm like, all right.
Mask up.
Yeah.
4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 4 from Kevin Huerter, or from 3 for Kevin Huerter. There was a stretch last night where it was like 3 or 4 possessions in a row. He either got cooked defensively or fouled somebody. And it felt like every time I looked up at the screen, it was Kevin Huerter going. Or Kevin Huerter hanging his neck. Oh Kevin, get in the game, man. The fact that he got 11 points with 1 made 3, I thought was notable. The Raptors were closing out hard on him, and he put the ball on the deck and got downhill. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I wanted to see more from him last year, and I'd like to see more from him this year. The 3-point shot is very obviously going to be kind of his bread and butter. But when teams overcommit, he's a good passer. And that float game a couple years ago was just really, really good. It was really dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see him get back to it.
I want to point out that I beat up Buddy Hield for a long time because Buddy Hield would go games without free throws. Like he would go 6 straight games without taking a free throw.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Huerter last night went 2 for 2 from the line. Those are his first 2 free throws of the season. So he went 5 games without a free throw to start the season. He is now shooting 100% from the line.
I would like to know what happened to the Kings and free throw shooting. Was it just a collective effort to work on free throws in the offseason?
It's like all they did was like hang out and not play video games, just hang out and shoot free throws together.
Because I can't imagine that is a thing. The Kings are leading the NBA at 84.1% from the free throw line as a team. Last year, for reference, the league leader shot 83%. That was Utah. The Kings were last at 74.5%.
They were horrible. And Domantas Sabonis was horrible at free throw shooting, and De'Aaron Fox was not good. Fox right now shooting 87%. Domas, last night, 5 for 5 from the line, is shooting 84.4% from the free throw line. Absolutely crazy.
I know they work on stuff that isn't free throws, but it really looks like they all collectively went into a gym and went, hey, all we're doing this offseason is free throws.
Yeah, there's only one player, main rotational player, shooting under 80% from the free throw line, and it's Malik Monk, who's shooting 78.9.
Wow.
Everyone else is shooting 80% or better.
It's amazing. Speaking of Buddy Hield, salute.
Oh, Buddy Hield is...
Salute to Buddy Hield. The dagger in Boston last night.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, his shooting is so erratic from one game to the next. And in all honesty, I think he is not, like the hand doesn't feel good. And I think some nights it feels okay. And other nights he might bang it like one time trying to get a steal. And then it's not great.
Yeah. So is he, you might have asked him this, and I want to put a pin in the De'Aaron conversation because I want to kind of crack that open and talk about it a little further.
Okay.
Is it a celebration, quote unquote, after he makes a 3 to look down at his hand? Or is he looking down at his hand to make sure his fingers are all intact?
I don't know. I'm thinking it's probably the second because I even watched, he was 1 of 7 to start.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got a ball, like a hot potato ball, right at the end of the shot clock, and like from the baseline, leaped up, threw the ball up, nothing but net. And I thought to myself, he's thinking about his hand, because on that play, he couldn't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Every other time, he's thinking about it, and it was like instinct. The instincts are there, and like it's really tough for him to strip down.
Yeah, of course,
and just play on instincts, but. Like clearly the hand, it's a pinky finger. I think he has some sort of ligament damage in his pinky.
Yeah, I would love to know, because he hits a 3 and then every time down, it kind of looks like a celebration. He's holding up 3 fingers like this, and he's looking down at his hand. And I don't know if it's like he's talking to his hand, kind of like, psyching himself up mentally, or if it's like, oh, my finger is hurt. Let me look and make sure it doesn't look worse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's possible.
I have no idea.
Like, there's no way for him to get this fixed during the season without him sitting, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Last one, number 6, counting.
The Malik Monk experience. I think we're all...
Boy, was it.
That was wild.
I think it was the third quarter. He had a run of 2 or 3 possessions where he drove into traffic just kind of haphazardly, like he didn't know exactly what his plan was. There was one where he started to elevate and then decided maybe he didn't want to and just turned it over. It was a weird game. He ended up fine. It was just, there were a couple of moments where it looked like he just didn't really have a plan when he had the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and then he started to get going to start the fourth quarter. And to be honest, the momentum shift happened because of him. He hit the big 3. He got out in transition.
Mm-hmm.
Even they had a couple of breaks they botched, and it was like, what is happening? Like him and De'Aaron, like they had a bad pass on one.
Yeah, he like threw a lob with 2 defenders under the basket.
Yeah.
Where are you throwing that?
Yeah, he just felt off. And I'm not sure what it was, but again.
Well, let's stick here for a second. Since we're done with 6 quick thoughts, again, if you want to read more, James_Ham NBA, and subscribe to the Kings Beat, where kingsbeat.com. First 3 quarters, Malik was 2 for 8 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, picked up a tech, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and assists. I mentioned the kind of weird drives into traffic with no plan. But then in the fourth quarter, 2 for 4 from the field, he hit a big 3, hit a couple of free throws, finished with 7 points, had a rebound. And like you said, kind of catalyzed the end of the game. This has been a strange start to the year for Malik Monk, and I can't really put my finger on why.
Well, I think it's a couple of things. Number one, we've talked about this before. He doesn't have the lob threat. Number two,
the pick and roll game isn't there as consistently.
The pick and roll game is not there nearly as much. And like you've seen Kevin start to get the pick and roll game with Domas going. Like, I don't know why they haven't been able to get it going with Malik, but I also don't know why they don't try like Trey Lyles in the pick and roll game or do a
little pick and pop or something.
Yeah, or a weird 2-man game with DeMar DeRozan and Malik Monk. They've got to figure out different ways to get him into that situation. Or like Keegan. Again, I think Keegan is a guy that can probably do pick and roll stuff. And we haven't seen a lot of it throughout his career yet, but that's going to be like one of the next steps that they start integrating him into like the DHO game and stuff. But I just feel like Malik doesn't have the perfect roster for him. But I also think, like, look, there's so many mouths to feed on this roster that it's tough for a guy like Malik who, again, last year, I think he was closer to 13 shots a game. He's at 11 right now. And I don't think he's played poorly. I just don't think that he's found his spot.
So I did some digging into our data.
Okay. Data mining.
I printed out the entire internet.
That's right.
I was poring over the data. His field goal percentage identical to last year on 1.4 fewer shots.
Okay.
He's taking 1.4 fewer shots per game. His 3-point percentage is down to 30.8%. 4.2 points lower than it was last season. I expect that to turn around at some point. He's a better shooter than 30.8%.
Well, the Kings as a whole are shooting. They're 26 in the league at 32.5%. They're not shooting the ball well at all from 3.
I'm hoping there's I hope this is not a season-long trend, because that means there will be an ascension to the mean at some point where they just go bananas for a couple of games and score like 160 points.
Oh, yeah.
I would really love to see that. But anyways, this season, he's at 13.1 points. I'm going to round. 13 points, 3 boards, 3 assists this season. In the 3 years prior to last year, when he really kind of had his big breakout, his averages in those 3 years combined: 13 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. He is, to start this year, from a pure just like box score production standpoint, the exact same player he was the 3 seasons prior to last year.
Interesting.
And that might just be a coincidence in a small sample size. And maybe it is. Maybe it's the lob threat. He's still trying to figure out exactly what this team needs from him now that they don't need him scoring as consistently as they did last year. I'm sure all of this is playing a role. And maybe last year being a contract year, maybe that played a role. But I do think it's interesting that we're going, oh man, slow start from Malik. Like, what's wrong with him? It's like, oh, he's just kind of been the dude he's, for the most part, always been.
Okay, what if I see your Malik Monk?
Okay.
And I raise you 1 Kevin Huerter.
Okay, go on.
Kevin Huerter in his second season, 12.2 points. Let's just round. 12, 12, 12.
This is points per game.
Points per
career?
game.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 rebounds, 3 rebounds, 3 rebounds. Right around 3.5 assists. Now, I can also look at 3-point shooting: 38, 36.3, 38.9. Those are his second, third, and fourth years in the league. This season, he's at, if we round up, he's at 12 points, 3 assists. At 3 rebounds, 1.8 assists, shooting 36.1% from the field. I'd also say this, like, the weird thing about Kevin Huerter, if we're watching Kevin Huerter right now versus Kevin Huerter last year, like, I would say everyone who's watching Kevin Huerter play right now feels like he's playing way better than last year, right? Like, that's what it feels like. Kevin Huerter is shooting the exact same percentage from 3 as he did last year.
Yep.
He's averaging 1.3 more points per game, but that's because he's getting a little bit more. He's got 0.7 3-point attempts more than he did last year, and he's a little more he's shooting better from the field.
77.8 from 2-point range.
Yeah.
After 57.1 last year.
That's down from his 90% that he was after like 3 games. He's fading.
He's in a slump.
He's in a slump. Yeah. So I mean, I think that is kind of what we're seeing. Guys that when they do, like, they will be who they are, especially if you add the pieces around them that turn them into more of a role player than a third option or a fourth option.
Yeah, I wanted to look because I think with Kevin specifically, I think so much of last year was defined for him in the preseason when it looked like he might get benched.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way he started the year, the way he ended the playoffs, and then he went into the preseason and it was like, oh, he might get benched. And then he started the year, check this out. His first 6 games last year, that's how many he's played this year. He's at 36.1%, which is where he finished last year. His first 6 games last year, he shot 24.2% from 3.
Oh, yeah, he was a hot mess to start the season.
Right, and I think that's kind of where the perception lies. It's like, man, he started out bad last year, and that just didn't have a good year. But this year, he's starting about how he finished. It's like, oh, hey, Kevin's back.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks very similar to what he has his entire career.
Yeah.
Which is a solid, really good,
quality NBA player.
Top like 5, 6, 7 of your like team, like that quality of player.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm interested to watch Malik Monk. I'm keeping a very close eye on this because in my head right now, I think he's going to be fine. But I do think it's really interesting that his start to the year is just what he was the 3 years prior to last year.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on for sure. Maybe it's a personnel thing. Maybe the Kings figure it out. We'll see. All right. Let's take a look around the NBA. Every NBA team played last night.
Again?
Yes.
It's like
how they're doing
on Monday too, right?
So yes, how they're doing it. So I believe every NBA team played last night. Kind of weird if everybody had Tuesday and then also Wednesday off.
Yeah.
But ton of action around the NBA. We'll dive into that. And of course, we will have more Kings coming up for you. Where did they rank in the athletic power rankings? They might be in the top 10. We'll tell you. He's James. I'm Kyle. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube. Second hour coming up right here on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Leader. Hey, we're clear.
Yeah. Let's see. I thought this was interesting, Peyton. Keon in the closing lineup last night. I'm gonna also kind of point to the fact that number one, they didn't need the A team in the final 3 minutes. I think Malik Monk probably would have made his way back out on the court, but also I think Malik was totally erratic last night. And there are games where you can see him being erratic, and as a coach, you're like, okay, like, what am I going to do here? Am I going to leave him out there and potentially get him another tech and get him thrown out of the game? Like, every once in a while, he has a game like that where he's a little too amped and can't figure it out. And so, I also, Keon played out of his mind. And the whole Keon staring down RJ Barrett thing was sick. Yeah.
That was fun.
That was fun. There was also one other question that I wanted to pull up. Scooter said, oh, why aren't they just fixing? We didn't get to this. Are we going to get to that in the second hour?
What's that?
The Fox. Why you don't sit Fox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll figure it out. Okay.
No, we'll get to De'Aaron for sure.
Scooter, we'll figure this one out. We'll get to this.
Yeah, we have a whole De'Aaron segment planned.
Yeah. Cool.
Wait, what?
What?
What'd I do now? Did I get NBA Central again?
I don't think so. About what?
What?
I don't see. I don't know.
What'd I say? Oh, 2014 played last night. That's what I said. Maybe it wasn't everybody. I said that's not confirmed.
What?
Not every team played last night.
Oh, got it.
But I said that. Pretty sure I said maybe every team didn't play. But it would be weird to have 2 days off in a row.
Yeah. I didn't look. I mean, I was covering a game.
Hey, this is big time. This is so big time. Congratulations.
Yes, Michigan.
Huge.
Hey, I will tell you, Michigan. My son and I, we were
All good, bro.
like an 89 to 11% like deficit coming into Monday night, and he had Kelsey and like a 30-point lead, and we had Mahomes and DeAndre Hopkins, and me and my son were jumping up and down screaming when Mahomes hit Hopkins late in the game for the second touchdown, and we won. We came back, and I even sent Kyle like this is where my fantasy was, and then 2 minutes later Mahomes hits him and we won.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was sick. It's a good W.
Yeah, we had a good time. So we improved to 4-5, and strangely enough, we're very close to the playoffs again. Playoffs. Kyle and I are dominating the league here. The Swift, Kirk, and the Dickers we are a dominant force in the Odyssey League. Even right now, without any games, we're a 72-28 favorite coming into the week.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh wait, this is the league I am not very good in. Hang on, let me go to the other one. Yeah, so we're set. We're one of 2 7-2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
We've scored over 1,200 points. The next closest guy has 1176.
So we're up 33 points in total points.
More than that. Oh no,
24 and 9.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, here we go. Hour number 2, that's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're rocking with you until noon. Then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and KC. The best day of the week, it's a Thursday. In case you missed the news from earlier, news broke this morning via the Sacramento Bee. Wilton Rancheria has taken over as majority stakeholders in Sac Republic. The plan for a stadium and entertainment district in the rail yards is finalized.
Done.
Finalized. Hopeful to be open in 2027, again, according to the Sacramento Bee. This is happening regardless of MLS. This has nothing to do with MLS. At least it's not contingent on MLS coming here. However, with the stadium built, it is a 12,000 seat stadium, and its design will allow it to be expanded to 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
They believe that with investors and with the stadium, they will be a turnkey city. Sacramento will be a turnkey city for MLS when they do expand.
There it is.
So that's where things stand. Exciting times if you're a sports fan here in Sacramento, which hopefully if you're listening to this station and this program, you are a sports fan.
Yeah.
The person listening to this who's like, just turn it on, I like sports.
The Republic have been waiting for this type of investor forever. And this has happened. I mean, like, we went through the Ron Burkle phase. There was like talk of somebody from Facebook. Mm-hmm. Like there's been a bunch of like potential buyers. This is the one who, I mean, I haven't looked at all the dynamics of it, but how much of this are they funding themselves? It sounds like a lot. Mm-hmm. Like I haven't seen the math and what the city has to come up with, but clearly the city has now the infrastructure built in the rail yards that it did not have before. So again, as someone who did an entire documentary on the Kings and like potential relocation, like measures Q&R and the convergence plan, all of these things, anything that dealt with the rail yard depended on like the chemical cleanup. Like it was basically a toxic waste dump. It depended on like putting in sewer and power and roads. All of that stuff has quietly been done over the last, decade and a half. They've even built like a major, like federal, like expansion to the courthouse, I believe.
Yeah.
all right there. So like this thing has been waiting for sort of its major tenant. And this is it. This is your major tenant. It's going to be incredible.
Very, very cool for Sacramento. Obviously, if there are any updates on that as we go along, we will have them for you here on ESPN 1320. I want to remind everybody before we get moving with our conversation, subscribe to the James Ham and Kyle Madsen Show. That's this program in podcast form. So if you miss anything or if you want to go back and revisit anything, we upload each hour and the whole show every day at the James Ham and Kyle Madsen Show. Downloaded, subscribe on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, elsewhere in the NBA last night where not every team played basketball, despite what the rumors are, despite what you may be hearing, not every team played last night. That's why you come here for the best information. You're welcome, everybody. I'm just going to run through some scores.
Okay.
I have takeaways. If you have anything else, we'll dive in.
Okay.
Cool. And then we got somebody in the chatty house asked about De'Aaron Fox, and I want to have a larger De'Aaron Fox conversation with you here coming up. Also, 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320 is the Elk Grove Kia talk line. If you would like to join the program, again, the phone number is 916-909-1320. We don't have a call screener, so it may ring for a while, or it may be a second before we get to you, but we will do our best to get to anybody who wants to jump on the Elk Grove Kia talk line at 916-909-1320. All right, the Knicks beat the Hawks. Excuse me. The Hawks beat the Knicks 121-116. Hawks 121, Knicks 116. Karl Anthony Towns had 34 and 16. And for some reason, this was just something I overlooked. I looked at Minnesota and I said, I don't think those pieces are going to fit that great. I think they're going to start slow. But I thought Karl Anthony Towns was a really nice fit with the Knicks, and I thought they were going to hit the ground running. I know they have some depth issues, and they have a couple of guys who are injury prone, but out the gate, I thought they'd be in a pretty good spot. They are struggling out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And my question to you is, how much time does a team need, do you think? Like, when do we get worried about the Knicks?
Okay, so I don't think you're going to worry about the Knicks unless we get to like game 60 and they haven't really started to figure things out. This is one of those teams that has so much talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know this, but like a bunch of them played together in college. So, they still have that.
Xavier?
No.
Temple?
No. They all played together in Villanova, I believe.
Oh,
Villanova.
Right,
yeah.
okay,
So they did trade one of those guys.
I'm surprised nobody talks about that.
I know. I don't know why they don't either. But the fact is that Mikal Bridges is also an addition there. Like, he wasn't there. And OG Anunoby got traded there like mid-season last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're bringing in Karl Anthony Towns. So if you're going to have a 5-man, basically these 5 guys are playing all the minutes. Like it's 41 minutes, 38, 38, 39, and 37.
Good God.
They're playing all of the minutes because it's Tom Thibodeau.
And they have to.
Yeah, they have to because they don't really have anyone on the bench because they spent all their money on these other players, which are great. But the problem that you have is that you're relying so heavily on these 5 guys to figure it out together. Where, again, look at the Kings. The Kings have 4 guys that have played together in the starting lineup and then 1 new guy. And then the 3 guys that come off the bench have all played together.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there isn't really that much of a difference from one season to the next. I don't think that we can't call this a true, like, run it back by the Kings because Harrison Barnes is gone. But it's a lot of the same pieces.
There is enough continuity.
Yeah, like 12% of your starting lineup of your rotation is different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the Knicks, we're talking about like probably like 57% if you want to factor in some of OG and Anunoby playing and not.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of change going on. And so it might take a little while for the Knicks.
Christmas. Call me at Christmas.
I will call Kyle at Christmas. Kyle, this Christmas.
It would be really funny if you called me on Christmas Day and just started firing off your NBA takes. Like, okay, here's where I'm at.
Here's where we'll have a day. Just straight up, we'll do the risers, the fallers.
Yeah, we'll do that. December 30th is
there
our first show after Christmas.
Okay.
Well, that's just what we'll do. All right, it's Christmas time.
That's right.
I'm making definitive declarations. The Warriors beat the Celtics 118-112 in a defensive battle for the most part.
Yeah.
Neemias Queta, really nice game for him.
The Queta
it was down the stretch. It was Neemias Queta v. Kevon Looney, as we all expected when that game began.
Yeah, totally bizarre what was happening in that game, but I was in the media room with Neemias Queta's agent, one of his someone who works for the agency that Queta is part of, and we were watching it and we're having a discussion about it. Nimi looks so good. He has done so much work on his body. And I'm so happy for him he's starting for the Celtics. He's starting because of injury, but he's starting and played 28 minutes and put up 14 and 8 with 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And he only had 1 turnover.
And had a couple of big buckets for them late.
Yeah, he only had 2 personal fouls. Like, he is playing so well. And what he's done to transform his body, number one, shout out to the Sacramento Kings medical staff and training staff who did a remarkable job. The day that Queta walked in the door, I was like, oh my gosh, he is a huge man, but he is dragging his whole lower body.
Yeah.
Like his core was not strong enough to support all the weight that he had below.
Yeah. And
he has been able to transform his body to where now it's like, oh my, just look at him move.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, man, the Kings could use this guy.
Yeah, they could.
This version of him for sure.
Yeah, well, and he wasn't that far off. I'm not sure why the Kings did what they did with Neemias.
Very interesting.
Really, really strange decision. I mean, you stuck him in the G League and he was second in MVP and was an all G League player. Like, he did whatever development you were hoping to get, he did it. Yeah. And then you decided not to keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really strange.
Yeah, really good game in Boston last night. The Golden State Warriors moved to 7-1.
Wow.
And Boston, just their second loss of the year at 7-2. No Jaylen Brown there.
Okay.
So that definitely matters. But I was skeptical with Golden State and I'm still like let's see, they played 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys last night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, D'Anthony Melton's out. So their rotation is down to 11 instead of 12. I don't know how sustainable that is long term, but it's really clear that my concern going into the year with them was, do they have all these guys then they don't know who to play because none of them were good enough? It's, hey, we need to turn a bunch of 9th and 10th guys into 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th guys. Or are they going to find roles for these guys and they're going to kind of play Buddy Hield, playing at a level higher than you would expect Buddy to play? And it turns out that's kind of been the case. They've just gotten really, really good performances from Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson's been good. Gary Payton II's been healthy.
I think the most impressive thing is what Steve Kerr's doing here, because you're mixing and matching. When you're playing 11 or 12 guys, that means that you're playing guys who have never played together, like nonstop, like the entire thing. With the 5 guys on the court, you can have like 16 different lineups in one game because you're playing 12 players. You can have a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Like the combinations of players. And to have it work somehow is totally crazy.
Yeah.
So
heck of a year from Steve Kerr.
Good start.
I'm more impressed defensively with this team.
Yeah.
They were so bad on that end last year, and they're so much better there now. And Buddy Hield continues lighting it up. He went 4 of 7 from 3 last night. He had 16 points. He also hit the dagger. This season, he's shooting a light 50.7% from 3.
On 9.1 attempts per game. Yeah, I'm just gonna say this, and I hope people call me at Christmas.
Call me at Christmas.
Call me at Christmas, because this is a lot of smoke and mirrors right now.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
So we'll see with Golden State. They're, like I said, 7-1. Now they're at Cleveland and at OKC to finish up their road trip. But yeah, not bad to start the year. Number 3. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Chicago Bulls 119-99. The Mavs coming up next: Phoenix, Denver, Golden State.
Oh.
Going to learn a lot about exactly where the Mavs stand, but they've, for the most part, picked up where they left off last year. I think the Mavs are good. I think they're legit. I think they're contenders in the West.
I think they are too. I mean, they have the same record as the Kings. They're 5-3 on the season. I'm intrigued by them for sure. This is a team that, are they going to make it all the way to the NBA Finals again? I don't know. But I think it's interesting to see Luka Doncic is down to 28.6 per game. This is a dude who averaged over 34 a game last year, and I did not expect to see him take like a 6 point per game dip. But they could just be because it's early and maybe he's playing a few fewer minutes, but he's not shooting the ball well. He's not shooting the ball well from the field, and he's not shooting the ball well from three early on.
Yeah.
They're super dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. Win of the night for me goes to Denver.
Yeah.
Denver against the previously undefeated Oklahoma City Thunder with no Jamal Murray and no Aaron Gordon. Took down the Thunder, gave them their first loss of the year, 124-122. Nikola Jokic, 23 points, 20 rebounds, 16 assists. Just doing it all himself. It's insane. They were always very Jokic-centric, but they had a couple of different guys who they could rely. It's just all Jokic. He's doing everything right now. But the bigger standout on the box score to me, and the bigger standout watching last night, Russell Westbrook, who started the game, goes 29 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. He goes 10 of 15 from the field and 3 of 4 from 3 to help carry the Nuggets early on. Shout out to Russell Westbrook.
Wild.
Shout out to the Nuggets. That's a big win for them.
So I'm just getting you rattled that off. He 29, 6, and 6. Did you see his plus minus?
No.
Negative 14.
Which is why he wasn't closing the game.
Sorry, D-Lo.
Shout out to Russell Westbrook, and man, Nikola Jokic is just on a freaking tear.
And one other thing I want to point out in this game, which could become scary, Jalen Williams,
dude,
29, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 3 steals.
The thing that's scary with Jalen Williams, if you're a Western Conference team, is the confidence that he's playing with right now. It's like the light bulb came on for him because you watched him last year, especially in the playoffs. It was like he didn't know exactly what his role was supposed to be. Is he the guy who has the ball in his hands all the time? Is he playing off the ball when he does have the ball in his hands? Is he a distributor? Is he a scorer? He's just doing everything right now with so much more confidence.
Yeah.
Like, when you can always, the player I go to with this is Steph Curry, but it's a lot of players where you can tell just by how they're dribbling the ball. Like, they're dribbling the ball with more urgency. That's Jalen Williams this year. It feels like he's so much more sure of where he's going on the court and what he wants to do when he gets there. And assist shy of a triple-double last night.
That's why I've always enjoyed watching John Morant, because there is never a question that John knows exactly what he's...
a great one.
Like, he might not do the right thing, but he's going to do whatever he's going to do is going to do it by force.
He sure as hell knows that he's doing it.
Yeah, he's in.
Jokic this year, 28.8 points, 13.5 rebounds, 11 assists is what he's averaging on 53, 51, 80 are his shooting splits.
Yeah, I want to see how many triple doubles does he already have?
A lot.
Because
I think he has more than the rest of the NBA combined.
No, he doesn't, because Domas is right there. Domas has 4. Ooh, 3, 4. I think Domas...
I saw a stat last night that was... I don't know.
Maybe. He's got 4. Jokic does.
Jokic?
Yeah, Jokic has 4, and Domantas.
Maybe he had 5, and the rest of the NBA combined had 6 when I saw the stat.
Okay, no, he's got Jokic has 4 right now, according to Basketball Reference, and Domas has 3. At least on their main page for him, they might be wrong. So yeah, it's pretty impressive either way. Maybe they don't have last night's stats already in.
No, that's not right. They definitely. I'm gonna go search for that. I saw it on Twitter. Anyways,
yeah, he's got 4. I can see it, like in his game log.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what the stat was that I saw.
Okay.
Jokic had 6 of something, and the rest of the NBA had 5 of something, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Houston beat the Spurs 127-100. The thing that stands out to me here, Victor Wembanyama went 1 of 6 from 3, and this year on 7 3-point attempts a game, he is shooting 21.4%. Yikes!
Sophomore slump. Is that what
I think what we're seeing with Victor Wembanyama this year is him trying to figure out how to be the number 1 on a team. And the difference between I get that shooting is going to be part of his game and it's part of what makes him a unicorn. Like, dude, go be 7'8" under the basket.
Yeah.
Go get in the high post and work from there.
I think the other thing I would point out is we talked about how good Chris Paul is at setting up players and creating, what he did for Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that that's not who Wembanyama is.
Yeah.
And that trying to put him in some sort of system might not really work. And that means that Chris Paul is going to have to make an adjustment and just start playing. Just, start feeding him in different spots on the floor and stuff. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
For sure. Who's next? Indiana, Orlando, 118 for the Pacers, 111 for the Magic. Magic lost 5 in a row. They're 0-4 without Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, they're cooked. Sorry. Toast. What a tough season. I mean, I don't think there's any way around it.
Maybe they, by the end of the year, they figure out a way to kind of get back in it because it's the East, and maybe they can make the play in and get healthy and go on a run.
Yeah.
But they're going to be in a deep hole by the time Paolo gets back.
Yeah, and the problem that they have is Paolo's going to take forever, but Milwaukee and Philadelphia, who are below them, are going to get their players back before Paolo comes back, even though Tyrese Maxey got hurt, and now he's out a couple of weeks. I still think that those teams are going to get healthier and start performing better, and so they're just going to be buried. So it's going to be tough for them to climb up, but maybe. You never know.
We're not doing numbers. Clippers 110, 76ers 98. The Clippers don't stink. They're not a bad team. I thought they were going to be really bad. They're not really bad.
Okay. I mean, they are also playing against a team that's like mostly gone,
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, Embiid.
Yeah, no, I just mean overall the Clippers haven't been that bad.
Yeah.
I thought they might be like a really not very good club. But they're playing very well, in part because of Norman Powell. Now, don't go look up Norman Powell's stats.
Okay.
Because I want to quiz you on Norman Powell's season.
All right.
Where are we at? Here we go.
I like Norman Powell.
Good player.
Mm-hmm.
Also from this game, it was reported today by Shams, Tyrese Maxey is going to be out a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. So the blows just keep coming for the Sixers. Norman Powell. He had 26 points last night, 6 assists, 1 rebound. He went 6 of 8 from 3, 8 of 10 from the field. What do you think Norman Powell this season is averaging in points per game?
I'm going to guess around 25, 26.
He is at 25 points per game. His previous career high for a season was 18.6.
Yeah, I was going to say 18.
He is averaging 25 a game. Do you know what he's shooting from 3 this year on 8.5 attempts?
48?
48.5%.
I did not look up these stats, I swear.
That's really strong by you. Career high was last year at 43.5%.
Yeah.
He is shooting from the field 53%. Whew. My man can't miss.
Yeah, he's playing really well. I mean, he's kept them afloat while Kawhi's out.
Yeah.
That
doesn't Norman Powell, man.
I think it's still going to be a really interesting season to see what they look like. I just know, like, without Maxey, that 76ers team is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul George played only 24 minutes last night for them, for 76ers as well. And that was still, like, it was competitive. I mean, 110, 98. It wasn't horrible.
Yeah, the Clippers visiting Golden One Center tomorrow. Memphis beat the Lakers 131-114. LeBron James, 39 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and the Lakers still lost by 17 points. Ouch.
Yeah, they've hit the skids. What are they're 1-4 over their last 5 games after the 3-0 start.
Yep.
And now AD is got the foot issue.
You have Anthony Davis with the foot issue.
Uh-huh.
LeBron James having to play 38 minutes a night. And then you have JJ Redick after the game saying D'Angelo Russell only played 22 minutes because of his, quote, level of compete and, quote, attention to detail. He said he felt Russell reverted to old habits and Redick wanted to see more of Gabe Vincent out there. That's according to Jovan Buha.
That's incredible.
Shout out to JJ Redick saying the quiet part out loud about D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I think he thinks he's on a podcast, which is great. Like, no, I mean, like,
no, hold your dudes accountable, man.
I've said this about D'Angelo Russell forever. I would never want D'Angelo Russell on my team. Like, there's always been that. Like, you know how many times he's cooked the Kings? He's a bona fide Kings killer. But he also has put up 4 points against the Kings. Like, there is no consistency. He's gone through an entire career without being consistent at all. And has he had moments where he's great? Heck yeah, he has. But I'd rather have a guy who scores 15 points every single night than a guy that scores 25, 30 games a year and 3, 30 games a year. And then sometimes he's between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. He's always been this player.
Yep. 100%. Cleveland beat New Orleans 131-122. The Pelicans are cooked.
Yeah.
They're toast. I don't even know that when they get healthy if they're going to be right.
Yeah, because I don't watch together.
I don't watch them. Herb Jones is obviously a really good player. Trey Murphy obviously matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't look at them and go, oh, the healthy version of this team is going to be a real problem. They're going to be better for sure.
Yeah, man, I don't know what's happened there. They are a very, very crazy collection of talent. And I just don't know how it's ever going to fit together. You always have somebody who's out, and that's not a good thing.
I cannot believe I missed this, by the way. I want to rewind to Lakers Grizzlies real quick, because if you're a listener of this program, you know that the official non-Sacramento King of the NBA of this show, non-Sacramento King of this show, is Memphis Grizzlies guard Yuki Kawamura.
Oh, yeah, Yuki.
And our guy Yuki got his first NBA points last night. Congratulations to Yuki. Hit a couple of free throws. Played 2 minutes in the blowout. And Yuki Kawamura, point guard from Japan, who lit it up in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Has his first NBA points.
That's super exciting.
We're so happy for him.
Good for Yuki.
Shout out to our guy. Last game from last night that jumped out to me. Phoenix beat the Heat 115-112. The Suns' bounce back this year has been super impressive.
Mm-hmm.
The way they flamed out in the playoffs last year, and all the talk of they got to trade somebody, and Bradley Beal is terrible, he's the worst contract in the league. Bouncing back to have the start that they have is not something I was anticipating from them. I thought they'd be a top 6 seed again. But I did not foresee them getting out of the gates like this.
No, but when you watch them last year and everybody for some reason celebrated the 4 or 5 guys that they brought in to be the bench, they just weren't very good.
Nope.
And this year, I think they've fortified the bench and they've supported their star level players. And that's what you have to do.
Yep. Definitely. All right. We got to talk about De'Aaron Fox. Weird start to the year for the Kings superstar point guard. We'll discuss that next. He's James. I'm Kyle. We're the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320 and Sacramento Sports Center. Clear. I'm so salty I can't find this Jokic stat.
And you don't remember what it was at all?
No. I thought it was triple doubles, but it's very clearly not.
Is it? It's got to be like 25 and 15 or something.
Maybe it's that.
I don't know.
I saw the screenshot. I'm not crazy. I just don't know who I saw the screenshot from.
Whoa.
The block by Peyton Watson at the end of the game was sick too.
Hmm.
20 and 15.
Uncle Looney. When your rookie's supposed to come back. Is Jalen Wells playing well? I haven't looked.
Who?
Jalen Wells.
Okay. That was okay. Here it was. Jokic triple doubles this year 4. The rest of the NBA combined has 6. And then it's 15 games since the start of last season. Jokic has 6. The rest of the NBA has 2 combined. So it was definitely the triple doubles one.
Oh, okay.
He has 4. The rest of the NBA has 6, and probably has 7 now.
Yeah, because Sabonis picked up.
Last night.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
I mean, Sabonis has 3. I mean, he's right behind him.
Yeah.
And Sabonis
Jokic and Sabonis have 7. The rest of the NBA has 3.
Oh,
is that right?
Maybe
There's 10.
Oh yeah.
Combined? No, 11 combined.
Yeah, they have the so 4.
7 of
Yeah.
the 11. That's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ooh, the Anta KT10 is out.
Yeah, Wells is averaging 11 points per game for Memphis. 39.5% from the field. Early second round pick. Are we back?
Nope.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes.
Orlando's probably a week or two away. Like we don't know for sure. He's surpassed like the month. We haven't had an update. He's not a lob threat. Like I don't know if you guys go watch a YouTube video of Orlando Robinson. He's a big dude. He's got super long arms. And he's a solid defensive player, but I'm trying to think of who like body style. I don't know. I'll think about it. Yeah. He's a big dude with like pretty good touch around the rim. And he's, supposed to be a good defensive player. I don't know how he gets on the court. Maybe Isaac down the road, but tough. Alex Lim was actually really good last night. He didn't start off good, but he finished really well.
I'm going to play this call from our sister station in Boston.
Okay.
This is incredible. So I used to work pretty closely with one of the midday producer in Boston, WEEI.
Mhm.
And whenever anything bad would happen in Boston, I would have him send me a supercut of their calls from the day.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. The amount of times Bill Belichick got fired on Boston radio is unbelievable.
That's funny.
And every caller sounds, imagine, I'm going to play in about 40 seconds here. I'm going to play a caller from WEEI in Boston. Imagine what you think a Boston sports radio caller sounds like.
Okay.
Have that voice in your brain. Have how you think the call would go after a loss to Golden State. Kind of just have that voice in your head.
Yep.
Whatever voice you're thinking of right now is this.
Good Will Hunting.
You're going to have nailed it. It's not even Boston tears is the best part. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, here we go.
Bless you.
Thanks. Here we go.
Now, back to the Insiders with James Ham and Kyle Madsen, brought to you by Jiffy Lube on ESPN 1320.
I really want to talk about De'Aaron Fox. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I really want to talk about De'Aaron Fox, and we will in a second. But during the break, I was skimming the internet, and I found a call from our sister station in Boston. This is Jones and Keefe. It is what time? It's a midday show in Boston. And the Warriors beat the Celtics last night, 118-112. Sacramento Kings legend Neemias Queta had a really, really nice game for Boston. He's starting right now with Porzingis out. Jaylen Brown is out. And Queta last night, 6 of 11 from the field in 28 minutes. 6 of 11 from the field, 8 rebounds, a couple of blocks, 14 points. Had a couple of big baskets down the stretch for them. He had a big putback dunk that got the crowd lit up, and then he had a big alley-oop late in the game when the two teams were kind of going back and forth. I want to play this just because this is like peak Boston sports talk radio to me. And here's this caller talking about Sacramento Kings legend Neemias Queta. Neemias Queta.
And what's up, Tommy?
Hey, what's up, Jones? What's up, Keith?
Hey, Tommy.
Love the show.
Thank you.
All right, this is what I gotta say. Who cares if they lost because they were out Jaylen Brown and Porzingis?
Okay, first of all, the voice I told you to imagine in your head, did you nail it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Here we go.
Well, they were favored.
This is a kid who stepped up. Quintana had a lot of minutes, but the thing is, I want
Quinta.
Oh, no.
Quinta got a lot of minutes.
him back in towards the end. Take Al Horford out and put him back in because this kid Quintana, dunking, making blocks. He's a beast, Jones. You like Quintana?
Okay.
He's a beast, Joe. You like Quinta? Incredible. I love that caller very much. I wanted to share that with everybody. Neemias Quintana, Boston Celtics legend. Anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. It was just a fun thing I saw.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Shout out to Neemias Quintana. Anyways, I want to have a De'Aaron Fox conversation.
Okay.
And then we can get to our teamwork, our Jiffy Lube teamwork play of the game as well. And here's where I'm at with De'Aaron. Obviously, struggling shooting the ball to start the year. My first question is, do we think that his shooting struggles are just because of the finger? Like, how much is it really that big of a factor for him right now?
Yeah, I think because we're seeing games where he's really good and then games where he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do think that it is influencing what's happening. Like, he's still learning to play with his fingers taped together. There are going to be games where he's just spot on, and other games where he struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ignore it. I mean, look at the basics that you would think of. Okay, if you hurt your finger on your shooting hand,
mm-hmm.
what would you do? Number one, 3-point shooting. The other thing is you'd probably turn the ball over more than typical.
Mm-hmm.
And Fox right now is averaging like 3.8 turnovers per game. Like he's struggling turning the ball over. And so these things kind of lend me to believe that, like, whatever it is that's happened here, the ligament damage, whatever, that it's going to be a problem until either it heals up or he learns to play with it in a different way, or it won't. He could just be a guy who turns the ball over more this year and who doesn't shoot the ball that well from three, but is still dynamic as a scorer and finds different ways to help you.
So that's the thing is, De'Aaron is too good to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's never going to be a bad or ineffective player. The way he's effective is just going to change. And that's where I wonder, okay, if he was playing poorly to start the year, if it was like, man, what is wrong? He's just not shooting it great.
Yeah.
But it's not, he's not been, it's not like he's been terrible.
No.
It hasn't jumped off the screen that he's been bad, right? If that was the case, then the conversation would be different. So my question, I guess, is, okay, if the finger really is the issue, and that's why he's not shooting it great.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume a month. Let's say to get the finger right would take a month. Whether it's through surgery or just rehab, I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard that he does, like, if he had surgery, he'd be out a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Right.
So let's call it a month, just for the sake of argument.
Okay.
It to me would be very worth it for the Kings to have De'Aaron miss a month if it means he's going to come back and be as effective from beyond the arc as he was last year, where he shot at 37%.
Yeah.
Like, if that's really what it is, then to me, like, now's the time. We talked about it yesterday. Their first 30 games are not a gauntlet.
Yep. So
if it means getting maximized De'Aaron Fox by December, then go I can't find a good reason why you would not have him do that.
Well, I would even point out he did this the first day of training camp. That's what we heard, right? That this happened right. I'm wondering why that wasn't the case then.
Yeah, sure.
And the only thing I can come up with is that whatever they looked at, they're like, okay, you can keep playing. Like whether it's like the Sabonis injury where like at the end of summer, when they got done with the season, they're like, okay, let's reassess.
Sure.
And Sabonis never had surgery for like the
spiral fracture.
No, he had was it the UCL ligament?
Oh,
and
yeah. That's right.
Thumb had detached, right? It went back. It grew back together. So he didn't have to have surgery.
Or a procedure.
Yeah, or a procedure. Like Bogdanovich procedure. But with Fox, I don't know the specifics. If I get a chance to ask him, I'll talk to him about it and say, hey, what are the paths here? Also dig around with some other people around the team. But at the end of the day, like he has other things writing on this. And I know people don't want to hear that, but like if De'Aaron Fox makes all league this year, then he can make his extension goes from like 30 to 35% of the salary cap, like his max money extension. And that's a lot of money. Like we're talking about a huge amount of money. And that means he can only miss 17 games. He's got to play 65 games or more. And you can't just like write off a month of the season and think he's going to be all league. Because as of right now, he's going to have to fight to get there anyways. So you have to balance, like, can he be the same player or can he not? Can it heal up on its own over a certain amount of time or can it not? And I don't think any of us, we don't have like all of the specifics.
Sure.
But I'd also say this, the Kings also haven't shared a single thing about this injury.
Yeah, he's not even on the injury report.
He's never been on the injury report. We've never had a De'Aaron Fox tore XYZ. Like that's not part of the conversation. So the fact that he said that he has a problem is that's him like going out on his own and saying something. And I think, was it to Chris Biederman that he said that he started to explain what it was, or no, it was Gary Gerald on
the broadcast
on pregame. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what it means in the end. Like if he's got to miss X amount of time, I think we all think, oh, just do it. But there's also the like, hey, you don't want to fall behind in the season. You guys have big plans as a team. He's still able to play. He's still able to average, what's he averaging? 23.8 points, 5.1 assists, 4.8 rebounds. He's like third in the league in steals at 2 per game. He's deflections. He's second, third in the league in deflections. And what that tells you is that it's not so painful that he can't go play defense.
Use his hand, right?
Yeah. So you're hoping that it heals.
And it's not such like in the postseason a couple of years ago where it's just he's going to lose his dribble randomly.
Yeah.
Like it's not that. It's so Sass in the chatty house makes a great point, and this is kind of the other thing I was getting to. He said, I think Fox needs to get going by driving to the basket first instead of jacking up threes to get confidence. Like that's what I mean here. Is there such a benefit to the Kings to have De'Aaron Fox shooting the 3 well that it would be worth it having him miss a month? Or is it just what Sass said, and it's like, hey, he's just got to be different. He's got to affect the game differently. Going 0 for 11 from 3 and then 2 for 8 from 3 is not gonna help this team. And sometimes he's gonna go 4 for 6. Okay, that's great. But if he for a season is shooting 31% on the volume he's shooting at,
yeah,
that's not gonna work. But
you got to adjust.
I just said, he is a good enough player that we're never going to sit here and go, wow, De'Aaron Fox has been really bad for a month or 2 months.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he's too talented for that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I'm interested to see how this kind of adjusts. And maybe it's just he's starting the season slow and we're going to see an ascension to the mean and he's going to hit 48% of his threes for 2.5 weeks and his percentage is going to go back up and everything's going to be fine. I'm inclined to believe it's related to the finger injury on his shooting hand. In which case, I would like to see him. Okay, last year I was asking him, dude, jack up more threes. If you're going to hit him at this rate, get more up.
Yep.
But if you're going to hit him at this rate, get less of them up. Get to the basket. Become a distributor. He's going to score 20 plus a night in his sleep. maybe it's more drive and sprays instead of having him put up the three.
I'd also say this too. I think that if you go back and look at all the threes the Kings are shooting this year, they're out of sync on a lot of this. And while they might have open threes, we're not seeing a lot of clean passes. We're not seeing a lot of perfect setups. I've seen balls like down around the ankles where guys have got to, catch the ball and then bring the ball up and shoot, and guys closing out on them because of it. Like it hasn't been like a perfect flow. And part of learning teammates is learning where they want to catch the ball for the perfect shot. And some guys, like shoot up high and they want it up high. And some guys, everyone's different. And I don't think the Kings are there with a lot of this stuff. And so I would love to just say, hey, De'Aaron Fox is, he's going to have some nights that are hot and cold. And that's probably more the case. But I also don't know that surgery is a solution. Like,
sure, right,
like
and it may not
know,
be. I'm speculating and hypothesizing. I have zero clue.
Yeah,
I am just a dude with a microphone.
I totally agree. I'll
I
try
totally
to
agree. You're just a rando.
I'll try to have more conversations around to try to figure out what is this thing and what are the options here, because I don't know that we have an answer. Yeah. I may have said something that caused the chatty house to go ridiculously silly.
We're here. We're hanging out. Jiffy Lube teamwork play of the game.
Yep.
It's an easy one for me because this one jumped out last night when it happened. It kind of kick-started the Kings eventually pulling away from the Raptors. The Kings were up 104-100, about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and Keon Ellis came up with this.
DeMar shooting well over 51% from the field on the season. Ellis with the steal. A foot race. Got it to fall over Grady Dick. DeMar shooting well over.
Oh, there we go. Hey, shout out to Mark Jones at NBC Sports California for the audio. So today's keyword, and if you missed it last show, 2 shows ago, last show, whatever, if you missed it earlier this week, the way this works is Jiffy Lube sent us 4 $50 Jiffy Lube gift certificates to give away. We're going to give away one every Friday this month. And in the lead up to Friday, we're going to give out a keyword based on our Jiffy Lube teamwork play of the game. You just heard there, it was Keon Ellis's steal and fast break layup, where he went around Grady Dick. The keywords you're going to enter at ESPN1320.com. There will be a contest page. You can't miss it. When you enter that keyword, you're entered to win the $50 gift certificate. Okay? Is that easy?
Yep.
Today's keyword, all one word, breakaway.
Ooh.
BREAKAWAY, breakaway is your Jiffy Lube teamwork play the game keyword. You can enter that at ESPN1320.com and be entered to win a $50 Jiffy Lube gift certificate. We'll announce the winner on Friday.
Such a pretty
breakaway.
Finish.
It was really nice.
Yeah, really pretty finish.
When he first went up with that shot, my initial reaction was like, "Oh no!" Like, "Oh, this is bad."
Oh yeah.
Like, and then really nice. He pulls the ball down and
he's got some skill.
Got it up on the rim. Shout out to Keon Ellis. Yeah, he looks very much more comfortable in his role. Speaking of comfortable in his role, Kenny Caraway in the building. What's up, Kenny?
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing, man? How you doing? How you doing?
Chilling, vibing. Enjoyed the win last night.
Absolutely.
I was gonna nitpick, but I'm not going to. I thought they'd start a little bit slow. First game back after a homestand. It just took a little longer, and they dominated that game.
Don't say that anymore.
What?
No, we're trying to abolish
the first game back after a long road trip.
We're trying to abolish it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here. We're starting it. Yes.
We are.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, well, if that's okay, if we're doing that, then why the hell did it start so damn slow?
They didn't play.
It's the Raptors.
Yesterday.
Go blow those dudes out for 4 quarters.
They didn't play good. I took my notes, and at one point in the third quarter, I think the Raptors had gone up like 7 or 9 or something. I said, "This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Like, come on, man, play better." There was a moment where I said, "All right, well, we've finally seen the Kings play their worst game of the season." I didn't think they played good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth quarter came, and they turned it up about 4 or 5 notches on both sides of the floor.
Yep.
They were fantastic in the fourth quarter. They did exactly what they needed to do.
Yep.
And I'm not going to put them in the category just yet of you see teams, championship teams like the Celtics or, Milwaukee when they were good and
The Warriors.
OKC now, the Warriors, where they just kind of play around for 3 quarters. And when it's winning time, they turn it up to another level. I'm not going to say that's who the Kings are because they haven't shown us stats.
2 games in a row.
Yeah, but they, I need to see it, for a dozen games, where they're able to do that. But that's what it looked like last night. That's what it looked like. They were kind of messing around. And when it got a little too close for comfort, they said, all right, let's stop playing around. Let's turn this up. And they ran away from the Raptors in that 4th quarter. That was impressive. I was very happy to see that.
We had a funny moment late. They were testing the microphones. So there was a young guy up there. I don't know who he is. He new this year. He's testing the microphones for everybody. And he's got the box score. And he said, the Kings held the Raptors to 14 points in the 4th quarter. And I responded, yeah, but they gave up 39 to the Raptors in the 3rd quarter. And it's like, that's kind of who the Kings are today. They haven't figured it out. Like 33 points for the Raptors in the 1st quarter, 21 in the 2nd quarter, 39 in the 3rd quarter, 14 in the 4th quarter. It's like they're finding their moments to close out, but it's just not for 48 minutes yet. And like, I think they'll get there.
I think so too. I think they'll be fine. But last night was impressive. The way my mood changed completely, obviously because they won, but the way they won with how they played last night, that was
not letting go of the rope in a game where they fell behind 7 or 9. Like, yeah, for sure. It still feels like the same issue we talked about so often last season still plagues them. Like that perimeter size and athleticism would be so immensely helpful. It just felt like there were too many times last night that Toronto got easy buckets.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna, like, just looking at nitpicking issues that they got to fix down the line. That's a big one for me.
And one of the things about Toronto, we kind of talked about it yesterday. I don't think Toronto is going to be good at all record-wise, but they have good players. Like, they have good players. I think R.J. Barrett is a good ball player. I think Grady Dick is a good ball player. I think Abaji is cool. Like, I think he's starting small forward on a good team.
Davion played really well last night. He wanted to win that game back.
I like Snead. Like, they have a bunch of individual players. Shed. What did I say? Snead.
Willie Snead. Shout out. Salute to a Niner legend.
I like Shed. They have a bunch of individual players that I really like their skill set and their talent. I just don't think they're going to be like a good team. Yeah. But the reason why I bring that up is they have guys that if you're messing around, like, they'll put 25 on your head. Obviously, we know what Boucher will do when he goes up against
Jesus.
So, if you're not completely locked in, they got guys. I'd say 3 guys for sure that could give you 25.
Yeah,
and then, Portal's good too.
We talked about this going into the game yesterday. They are, if you're a Raptors fan, they have a lot of players to be excited about, especially when you're looking injured out
at their injury report.
Scotty Barnes, IQ, Emmanuel Quickley. Yeah. Kelly Olynyk's out, Bruce Brown's out. Like, if those 4 guys are playing, the Raptors are suddenly like, hey, they're not going to be great,
right?
But you probably don't want to play them.
Yeah,
they have enough guys who could be a problem.
Get them out of the way now for sure. Bruce Brown, he was wearing cowboy boots again, and he looked really nice again. I really liked his outfit. I liked it when they played in Toronto.
We have like a minute and a half.
Okay,
I am going to beseech you to not start wearing cowboy boots.
What you talking about?
He's already got them ordered.
I can tell. I mean, I got some other shoes I'm trying to get before that, but yeah, cowboy boots is gonna happen. It's
already happened.
Okay,
the
suede joints that he had. Mitch in New Jersey. Can you please tell Kenny not to wear cowboy boots?
Oh no, Mitch is calling. He's on the phone now. No.
Yeah, he's right here. I'm not gonna leave him hanging. Mitch.
How's it going, Dr. Madsen? James.
Hello.
Casey, what's happening? I need $1 to get Soto. We'll defer the money.
Can you tell him not to wear cowboy boots?
I don't wear cowboy boots. Come on. I'm sure you love that movie with Gene Wilder back in the 70s.
Oh,
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
What's that? What's the name of the movie?
Blazing Saddles. We're gonna not talk about Blazing Saddles though, Mitch. Thanks for the call. Given his,
what is Mitch doing calling it?
Given his history.
It's 11:53.
He'd been on hold for a few minutes, and I just didn't want to leave him hanging. What do you guys got coming up?
More cowboy boots.
Perfect.
We're talking about a basketball perfect game that honestly I didn't even know existed, but we saw history.
Jokic 23, 20, and 16?
No.
Sabonis.
We saw history. Can you imagine if Jokic did it though? I ain't heard nothing yet from O'Connell or anybody else yet. Can you imagine if Jokic did it? We'll talk about it. We'll complain about that.
I was going to do a bit where I got on air today and just fried Domas for only taking 6 shots. Why are you scared to put the ball in the rim, Domas?
Hey, I asked him about him in post game.
Yeah.
Come on.
Domantas Sabonis, got to be better. That's all, man.
Step your game up. Step your game up.
D'Lo and Casey coming up next. We're the Insiders. That's James. I'm Kyle. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube. We're back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Until then, drink water and be nice, people. Bye.